Hello and welcome to the Layman's Guide to the Multiverse, where we dive between the panels and break through the fourth wall. I'm your host, Matt, and with me this week we got Paulo.
What's going on, Matt?
We got Edward.
Hey, what's up?
And we got Douglas.
I am the knight.
God.
So looking at the notes you guys gave me, apparently we have an ad, somebody paying us to do advertisements, because I got a message here for Got Ham.
Good night, everybody.
No. Okay. It's something that I've been wanting to bring up, and it's because recently I've been on this really weird, just kind of shtick about whether or not Gotham City is it actually a city of justice?
Is it actually a fucking cesspool?
Or is it actually a fucking rotting cesspool of scum and villainy? A place where a billionaire playboy has created his own personal playground to deal with his crippling parental issues.
Well, I mean, the TV show is anything to show. It's not good.
Well, let's be honest here. The show doesn't paint it in a good light. And in doing research for this episode, which I actually decided to do because I didn't want to just go into it talking about how terrible Gotham City is. Yeah, no, it's been terrible since its founding.
Yeah.
So it's going back to like what we were talking about just now about Batman and it being his own personal playground for beating up
his
on
issues.
Yeah, beating up on his on his parental issues, because it's not daddy issues, it's parental issues.
Yeah.
I found out apparently something I didn't realize. Traditionally, DC Comics places Gotham City somewhere in New Jersey.
Yeah, this is supposed to be Jersey City.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah, it's like
it's like across the river from New York City, right?
Yeah. It's just super goth New Jersey.
Yeah, super goth New Jersey.
Yeah. It's pretty much Hot Topic New Jersey.
It's as if Jersey City had the crime rate of Camden.
I thought you were gonna say it's as if Jersey City was directed by Tim Burton and scored by Danny Elfman. Bum bum bum.
No, that's
No,
that's Asbury Park.
I'm sorry, New Jersey.
I mean, I live here. It's fine.
Yeah. No, you guys, I hang out with you guys in Jersey, so it's fine. It's fine. It's terrible. We went to school in Jersey together, the three of us. It's fine.
Yeah. It's totally cool. He has Jersey friends, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's how that works, right?
So what can you tell us about the history of Gotham exactly? Because all I know about Gotham is that, you know, everything, the movies and the comics, which is, you know, a post introduction of Batman, which it's never been portrayed in a positive light. Almost.
So
it's a fucking cesspool.
Well, okay,
Have you been listening?
So one of the things I want to bring up is believe it or not, something that I feel about Gotham City is that the city itself is a character in the stories that are being written about Batman.
Oh, totally.
You know,
Very much so.
if you are a fan of the art of comics, if you look at the way the cities are depicted, Gotham City has a personality. Gotham City, there's like a really beautiful Gothic architecture to it. Something beautiful about the way the city is just kind of like in this really kind of dark, surreal way where you can get lost in all the alleyways that exist inside the city. So obviously the city itself kind of gives credence to like something is wrong within the city. And believe it or not,
definitely.
Alan Moore is actually
something festering.
Yeah, Alan Moore, in one of his Swamp Thing stories, gave a fictional history to Gotham City that a lot of the writers have kind of expanded on.
It's cool.
So Alan Moore, we have Alan Moore to thank for Crazy Gotham City, which
thank you magical snake wizard.
Exactly, that's surprising. So according to Alan Moore, a Norwegian mercenary founded Gotham City back in 1635, and the British took it over. So it's kind of
I'm already
right.
That's the most Alan Moore sentence ever. By the way.
And then during the
thank you, full-time Snake Wizard, part-time Rasputin impersonator.
Part-time. That man practically is Rasputin now. Have you heard
Russia's greatest love machine.
Have you actually watched the stories of Rasputin? Like the real history of Rasputin, not to change the subject?
Yeah.
You mean Anastasia?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Where he was voiced by Christopher Lloyd?
You mean Hellboy?
Yes, clearly. No, the man's story is out of a comic book, straight up.
It
Like,
is.
He was a
really
sex
is.
orgy priest in old timey Russia, Imperial
with
Russia.
a wart on his dick. I'm aware.
Yeah, he's a warlock with his penis.
Well, he did eventually get rid of the wart, as well as the rest of the penis.
He may as well been a villain from Gotham City.
You're right.
Dude, he was beyond a Disney villain. He was a goddamn Don Bluth villain. Think about
He's
it.
a 10th level sex orgy priest. He's
I
got healing
a
words.
10th level sex offender.
So, and then apparently, just to go back to what we were talking about,
Yeah.
and talking about snake wizards, apparently, like Gotham City, for whatever reason, just people love to do occult shit in Gotham City. Like, and this is when the city was founded. They just love doing
Thank you,
occult
Alan Moore.
fucking things.
Oh, I'm so glad I still got that Ouija board from Bradley's. I'm gonna go head over to Gotham.
Yeah, apparently.
So now, question: is it because like Gotham is on like ley lines or something like that, or is it that the architecture of the city inspires the occult?
A little of both.
I was about to say column A, column
You got
B.
a little of column A, column B. I mean, another story that I didn't even realize was part of this. Back in the 1990s, there was a storyline called Dark Knight, Dark City, where you find out that the founding fathers summoned a bat demon in Gotham City, an old Gotham town, as it was called before it became Gotham City, and that apparently that's what spread throughout the city. And as the city evolved, it just got weirder and weirder and weirder.
Was that bat demon Barbados?
It may as well have been Barbados. I think that was not the original idea of who it was. They just kind of was rando bat demon, and then it became Barbados. I keep calling him Barbados, but
yeah, I do the same thing.
For those of you who don't know, Barbados is a bat demon from the Dark Multiverse, who pretty much wants to destroy all of reality. And
he's a big old jerk.
Yeah, he chose Bruce Wayne to be like his avatar, I suppose. At one point, it was like he was supposed to be the avatar for his return to actually like outside of being like trapped underneath the city.
I think you're right. He was supposed to be like the body or like the host for Barbados.
Yes, and this all happened. This we find out during Bruce Wayne's trek through time after Darkseid shot him in Final Crisis with his eye beams.
Yeah, with the fucking Omega Sanction.
So the Omega Sanction is Darkseid's like ultimate weapon.
Plot device.
Plot device.
It's his plot device beams.
And what it did was, instead of killing Batman, or as we all thought,
like everybody
thought that Batman died, Bruce Wayne ends up traveling through time to like the beginnings of Gotham City and like through different stages. I forget how he ends up jumping. Yeah, starts in caveman times, ends up coming back to the future.
It's essentially
when the hell was this written?
It's essentially like Quantum Leap. Like he has to do a thing, and then when he does the thing, he just like there's a portal and he jumps in and he just shows up somewhere else.
That's right. He's jumping into the bodies of his ancestors.
So when was this written?
2010.
This was right after Final Crisis. It was the Death and Return of Bruce Wayne, I believe it was called. I gotta give me a second. I'll look that up.
I don't remember the title, but it was right after Final Crisis.
Okay,
I think it was just the Return of Bruce Wayne.
Or is it the Return of Bruce Wayne? No, it is the Return of Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Right. This was right after. It was written by Grant Morrison. So like that's all. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Oh, the Scottish Snake Wizard.
Yeah. Alan Moore's nemesis.
Yeah, it literally picks up after Final Crisis. Yeah, Alan Moore's nemesis.
Yeah, Alan Moore's Isn't it crazy that like the two fucking machines have written some of the most interesting Batman lore?
It's really weird.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, really.
Well, I mean, that's
suck it, Marvel. Where are your magician writers?
Yes, this is May through November 2010.
All right.
So if you want a really weird fucking Batman story, go back and read The Return of Bruce Wayne by Grant Morrison, please.
Or if you just want tidbits about the old Gotham.
Yeah, you get to find that
the old Gotham.
Plenty of witches, plenty of owls, if you will, as well.
Which
is a more recent development in
well, I was not a fan of that book, but anyway,
you don't like it, really?
The Court of Owls, was it? Yeah, but not a fan. It was all right.
I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it brought brought a lot more history to Gotham as well.
It was cool. The thing that drives me insane is I'm getting really sick of the trope where Bruce Wayne finds other rich guy to help turn around Gotham City. Rich guy winds up being the bad guy all along. Oh my god!
Oh no, the other rich guy's a real thing.
That is a real thing.
Well, I mean, only rich people really can matter. So of course, they're either going to be heroes or villains.
I mean, that is something to talk about in regards to Gotham City, and I think we should bring that up after we get back from the break. But we're not there yet.
Yeah, we got a good 20 minutes before we do that. So let's talk more about the backstory, the history. So it was, God, what was it? It was you said it was some guy from Denmark found
a Norwegian
mercenary. The name actually is Captain John Lugerquist.
Okay.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
John Jon Lugerquist or Lugerquist.
Okay.
It's Logerquist. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
sure. Okay.
Right there with you.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
So
I believe you.
So anything else interesting? Like why is Wayne Corp? How did that found?
The history of the city itself kind of boils down to there being a few major wealthy families in the city, and they're the ones who kind of have run everything in the background. It's
classic Rockefeller
exactly.
types, right?
Believe it or not, one of those is the Cobblepots, aka the family that birthed the Penguin. The Waynes, and I believe who was the other family? It was the family that Martha's from. I forget who the heck their last name was.
I couldn't tell you offhand. I'd have to look that up.
Well,
not sure.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
I can't recall.
That was the other family. So, or was it? Wait, no, those are the Arkhams.
Oh,
yes. I believe she came from that family. The family that kind of that sprung up Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum originally was supposed to be a place where people actually got help and were actually not supposed to go crazy. But if I'm being honest, there's such a disparity and such a problem with the poverty line in Gotham City. Most people live under the poverty line except for the people who are ridiculously rich. The people who you usually see hanging out with Bruce Wayne in most of the movies that you see.
Right. You know, the Batman character.
No, but in all seriousness, like that is something that really is part of the problem with the city is there's a huge disparity of wealth. The rich are just super freaking rich all the way from the beginning of Gotham's origin to up until now. Where
it goes beyond that, though. I just wanted to add one little point. Is one of the things I remember about the history of the Wayne family is that Thomas Wayne was second generation wealth, if I recall.
I believe so. Yeah,
his dad got rich, and what he and his dad focused their efforts on in Gotham was real estate and the railroad system, the public transportation system.
Okay, I believe that was from the movie,
they made
correct?
I think they did something in one of the books too, but there's been so many. But basically, so not only is like Bruce Wayne the richest man in Gotham, he literally owns like half the land in it. And aside from that, it's so no one can really stand against him in his own city because he controls all the land and the resources.
Yeah, it's his.
It's all his.
When Batman says this is my city, it's not even just like I protect this. I dress like a mammal. Like he literally owns the whole thing.
Like a flying mammal.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, I forgot. I'm sorry.
And I think he bought up even more of the land in Gotham after
No Man's Land.
Crap!
Yes,
thank you.
You're very welcome.
Because only the Wayne Corps or Wayne Tech or whatever it is buildings are the ones that survived the earthquake because they are the only ones earthquake proof. So the rest of the city was destroyed, and then to help and then to help the economy recover after, like a year later, when the city started to recover, he started buying up more properties.
I mean, I'm laughing because like it comes from a place of good. Like, of course, Batman's like, let me earthquake proof all of this shit.
So just to kind of give the audience a little bit of a backstory on that. So No Man's Land was a storyline from just before the 2000s, where Gotham City was destroyed by a 7.6 earthquake.
Yep.
And I think that happened right after the city also got hit with like a plague.
Yes.
So a plague hit the city. They had to quarantine the city, and then the earthquake hits. And the United States is just like, fuck
the United
guys,
States gave up on Gotham.
Yeah, they were just like, it's fucking done. Yeah. Go there if you want, please don't.
Yeah. They set up like a demilitarized zone around it. No one was allowed in or out. It was like no longer considered a part of America.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we saw a little bit of that in the Dark Knight Rises. It was kind of like a half-assed version of that story because that story has a lot more to
You're
it.
totally
right.
Yeah,
you're 100% right. That's very fair.
I never really put that two and two together in my head, but you're completely right.
That was the point of that. That was supposed to be part of what they took from that. But yeah, that story kind of influenced The Dark Knight Rises, for those of you who have seen that movie. That's where that comes from. But there is so much more to that story where like the actual city gets split up into rival factions for all the villains who take over. And then like Batman comes back in and it's like a whole big thing where he shows back up. He has to gather his allies again, and then all of a sudden they start fighting back against all the gangs. And just like I said, part of it is just the city
is inherently a fucking cesspool.
Exactly. The city. The reasons everything goes wrong in the city stems back to this bat demon that got freaking summoned by the founding fathers.
God damn it, George Washington.
So pretty much Gotham is cursed forever, is what you're getting.
Kind of. According to a snake wizard, yes.
The thing is the people making the decisions for Gotham aren't helping.
No, and I was going to say to compound what you were saying, that yes, the wealth is distributed horribly, but also most of the people that have the wealth in Gotham are fucking evil.
You see, that's
fucking awful.
See, that's the funniest thing though I find about Gotham. That's arguably the most unrealistic thing about Gotham, because you look at, think about it. Most major U.S. cities that are like, used to be amazing but are now like kind of sketch. The two ones that
like New York.
No. I'm talking like Detroit and Camden.
Oh, right. Yes.
The problem with Detroit and Camden was where Campbell's Soup came from. And then Campbell's Soup moved all the factories, and then there's no jobs there, and the place went to poop.
He kind of shit poop.
Yeah, I did. But
wait, so Jokerfish might have saved Gotham?
Wait a second. There is a really good aquarium in Camden. No, and then similar thing for Detroit. All the like I know Chrysler, I think Ford, most of those places, they're now operating outside of Detroit. They're all in the suburbs.
No, they're gone from all of that. Like they actually, I believe the automotive industry completely left Detroit.
No, I'm talking about like the buildings and shit.
Oh, those buildings,
like corporate.
All those buildings are just dilapidated.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like so? Like all the rich people in all these cities
left.
They all moved. Gotham. They're all still there.
Yeah, Gotham. They're also because they have. That is where they own everything. That city is run to the ground by the politicians who are corrupt as fuck. And the people who could actually do something about it with their wealth are too busy dressing up in a mask and a cape to do anything about it. I hate that I'm like hating on Batman, because Batman's one of my favorite characters, but let's be honest here. This is the part of the problem is the fact that he's not using his wealth properly.
Here's the thing though. Because he's still going through a lot of the same legal avenues that I guess he has to, and is trying to make a difference the best he can.
Right.
Outside of that, by dressing up like a mammal and beating up poor people.
I mean, I said something the other day, like one of his most famous quotes is that criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot. Yeah, that's because no one wants to actually be a criminal. No normal person wakes up one day and says, "You know what? I want to go rob a bank today."
Yeah,
just because I feel like doing it.
So it says, yeah. Ask the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants what they think about that statement.
Yeah, they have their reasons. They have superpowers.
It was supposed to be ironic.
Ask Sauron why he wants to turn people into dinosaurs. All right. Like,
but that's
no. But honestly, like more times, like 9 times out of 10, nobody wakes up and it's like, you know what I want to do? Crime.
Yes, that is exactly what I want to wake up and do. Crime. Whatever.
Does
crime
everybody
it might
hands
be.
in 3, 2, 1 crime? Let's...
You know, all these people that are doing crime, that are doing the crimes in Gotham, like they end up joining the gangs of the supervillains, the gangs of the mobsters, because they don't have any other avenue to be able to make money. They have no other avenue to feed their families, and nowhere is that more evident than in some of the episodes that I've seen from Batman the Animated Series, where like I've seen specific episodes where Batman, like, he'll stop a guy, like he'll beat him up, and then he'll realize that he is not like a criminal, so to speak. He's doing it because
he has to.
He has to. And what he'll do is he'll put him up on a job. He'll give him a job at the company, anonymously, so nobody knows that it's him, and they'll turn their lives around. Like,
and they're also an informant for him.
That's also something that they do as well, but you know, that's beside the
And sometimes they don't even know because they're an informant for Matches Malone.
Exactly. Matches Malone, if you don't know, is a criminal disguise, I guess, or a alter ego that Bruce Wayne uses to infiltrate the fucking cesspool that is Gotham City.
He just has to. So Matches Malone doesn't really do any makeup or anything like that. He just dyes his hair gray and walks around in old-timey clothes. If you've ever watched Batman,
hey, he often puts on a mustache.
Yeah, he'll put on a fucking mustache and sunglasses, and he carries a matchstick in his mouth. That's why they call him Matches.
He puts forth more effort than Clark Kent ever did. Okay.
Hey, how dare you? All right, that guy wears his glasses and a fucking suit jacket that's like 2 sizes too big, and he walks around with like a 45-degree angle hunch.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah. No, that's I will defend Ed on that. That's
That guy is walking at a 90-degree angle constantly. How dare you?
All right. So Matches Malone is Batman's cesspool dive suit.
Yes. Well, no. Okay, hold on though. Is it his cesspool dive suit? Because you could argue that technically his bat suit is his cesspool dive suit.
Well, I think in Matches Malone, it's more he's swimming along in, this cess.
Oh,
by that logic, is Bruce Wayne is a scuba suit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, Bruce Wayne doesn't.
I'm not mad
Bruce
at
Wayne
that.
doesn't deal with the
scuba. I know he's too busy dressing up like a bat and punching poor people. We've established this.
Oh, and that's not okay. And now that we've talked about Gotham City a lot, and that's not even bringing into like the issue with Arkham Asylum. And like I feel like we could do. I want to touch on Arkham as part of this episode, but like I feel Arkham is an episode in and of itself too. We could probably do.
Oh, 100%.
So here, let's try to wrap up and summarize the points we're trying to get at here. So Gotham, crazy Norwegian guy, cursed it as per
Founding Fathers
Crazy
cursed
Snack
it.
guy.
Founding Fathers cursed it by summoning a bat
George
demon.
Washington.
Alexander Hamilton.
Thomas
Benjamin
Edison
Franklin.
cursed Gotham City.
Three families hogging all the wealth, a lot of poor people, and the argument we're trying to make here is that more or less Batman is trying to perpetuate the horrible state of Gotham City so that he can continue being Batman.
I don't want to say he's perpetuating, but he's absolutely not using his ability, his wealth as well as he should for it.
So I do have a counter argument for that, but I think we can do that after the break.
Let's do it after the break. All right.
We'll be back.
Grant Morrison loses a little of his magical powers every time you listen to us without liking and subscribing. So in hopes he may write more issues of Multiversity, please like, subscribe, and share us on whatever platform you use to listen to podcasts. Thank you. All right, and we're back. All right, the brief recap again was Crazy Dutchman comes, curses Gotham City, Founding Fathers summon a bat, bunch of rich assholes take over, and now Gotham's a piece of shithole that's like Camden and Jersey City on crack cocaine.
Oh.
I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you're not wrong.
But is it though?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, he was Norwegian, not Dutch, but otherwise spot on.
Isn't it like part of the same country? Isn't it like the capital of one or the other?
I'm pretty sure that the Dutch are from Dutcherland.
I don't.
Dutch.
I don't know. I don't know my countries in Asia that good. Okay.
Jesus Christ. Everyone's offended. Everyone.
But yeah, no. So like I was kind of saying before. So Paulo, it kind of sounds like, as we've talked before on this podcast, Bruce Wayne doesn't think of himself as turning into Batman. He thinks of himself as Batman being Bruce Wayne. So in that sense, Batman is using his powers as Bruce Wayne to further perpetuate the cycle of poverty in the city of Gotham so that he can use that city as his own little sandbox to keep playing superheroes.
I mean, I would argue the part about trying to keep people poor,
keep people down. Yeah,
to keep people down. I mean, obviously, from the example I gave before the break, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to help people. He feels he's genuinely
100%.
trying to
No,
do better.
Bruce Wayne is still. I don't want to be like he's still stunted and he's an 8-year-old boy, but here is an 8-year-old boy that watched his parents murdered in front of him, and he never wants anybody to have to go through that, ever.
Right.
To the point of dressing up,
like a
as
bat.
a flying mammal and punching poor people. I mean, I know I keep bringing that up, but it's like,
I mean, you're not wrong.
But
you're not wrong, and he does his best. And arguably that's one of the other problems in the city, that there's no infrastructure to support these people who have suffered these traumas.
Man, if only there was a billionaire. Who could do something
Right,
like
you would
that.
think so, but that billionaire is also one of those traumatic victims.
yeah, he also only has so much money. When there's only one billionaire trying to make a difference, when everything else is like, I mean, I keep bringing it up, and like it's almost a mantra that Gotham City's a fucking cesspool. Like, I'm not even saying that as a joke. It's terrible. And there's only one guy trying to make a difference.
But everything I've ever read though about Wayne Corp, it seems to make it on par with like a Stark Industries, if not more. And so you have all these governments using Wayne Corp and all that other stuff. You figure that they would be able to get the federal budgeting and stuff like that to get the city to stop being such a shithole.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Also,
like,
this
But
is
yeah,
also
but,
a world.
politicking takes time.
Yeah, right,
Politicking
Matt,
takes
and-
time
and-
that he could be using to, cripple poor people.
I mean, look,
Right, and Flint, Michigan's totally fine right now, right? Like the people that live there totally can't light their water on fire.
well, yeah, but Flint, Michigan doesn't have the industry that it had 50 years ago, so nobody cares about it. That's the problem.
but you got to remember something. That's also the a very similar situation in Gotham.
Yeah, Gotham City is Flint, Michigan times a billion.
Exactly.
But I thought Wayne Corp was supposed to be manufacturing out of Gotham. Usually that's how they portray it.
No, there were other companies that were part of that. Like one of the biggest companies, and not to joke about this, Ace Chemicals. Ace Chemicals was one of the biggest, chemical companies in the country, and they employed a lot of Gotham City as well. And then, the company went out of business. Stuff goes wrong. A man falls into a vat of acid and comes out with a white face. Shit happens.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I would say that's a winning scenario for falling in a vat of acid.
Yeah, just being a crazy murder hobo clown. That's
Plus a
Gold medal.
Hey,
fucking gold medal at the Crazy Olympics. You did it. Clap it up, bro.
I mean, in that regard, so I don't want to keep just like trying to defend Batman, because obviously there are things that he could be doing much better. There are things that Bruce Wayne could be doing much better, but he is also part of that cycle, that victim cycle within Gotham City, where people are downtrodden, they're beaten, they've dealt with trauma, they've dealt with their parents dying, they've suffered, like Any other day, a supervillain shows up in Gotham City, fucking murders like 30 people. Okay? How many kids have just been orphaned by those 30 people that have been killed by the Joker or by Mr. fucking Freeze, who decided that he needed to steal some fucking chemicals to try to save his wife?
You're right, though.
You know?
But
Let's kick ice.
Oh, God.
I would say I think the real problem is that, like, first off, Ed, you were just saying, can he do better? And the thing is, he could if he wasn't Bruce Wayne. Because what happened to Bruce Wayne has created this broken man-child bat thing that essentially him going out and, you know, fighting crime, literally, that is just like a violent catharsis. Like, that is a power fantasy of a child who's been victimized, and it's the only way he feels like he has power or control again. So that part of him needs to be out there beating on those criminals.
Maybe.
But if he weren't so broken, then he would know that time that he is punching poor people who, again, didn't probably wake up wanting to be crime doers. He could spend that time using that immense power of Bruce Wayne to fix, like, infrastructural issues,
I mean,
systemic
but
issues.
you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, to Doug's point, I just thought of something. What movie are they getting out of when his parents are killed?
Zorro.
The Mask of Zorro.
Imagine if they were getting out of seeing Citizen Kane. Maybe Doug's reality would have happened if he had seen a political movie like that instead of a Zorro.
I mean,
that's an interesting little spin there.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to make some, like, bizarre Matt joke, and then you just made a really cogent
No,
point.
that's
right.
I mean, that is part of the reason that he dons the mask as he does. It's because he was inspired. Part of that is the inspiration of the movie that they were walking out of, which is like a constant, or like an opera movie. Like, I believe in the Nolan trilogy, they're not coming out of the Mask of Zorro; they're coming out of an opera.
I think that's also the case with Tim Burton, but every comic I've ever read that's touched it, it's Zorro.
Yes,
yeah.
In the comics, it's definitely Zorro. Another thing that I want to bring up with that regard is how much of a difference would have made in Bruce Wayne's life if he had gotten therapy after what happened.
Who knows?
Probably a lot.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I mean,
who knows?
that's another thing, and that's something that, again, we don't see.
You don't
as
really,
part
yeah,
of
you
Gotham.
don't see that. I think I really want to see, like, we keep talking about how Bruce Wayne could do more, he could do more, he can do more. I don't know what that legal red tape looks like.
Right, and not only
we don't really ever see that.
I kind of feel that Dark Knight touched on that a little bit.
I mean, he tried to get Harvey in as
the DA.
As the DA.
Well, what I'm getting at is, you know, Batman can, you know, kind of work outside of the law, but you needed someone like a Harvey to, you know, knock everyone down and yeah.
But that's still not a correct approach, though, because you're not really solving the problem. You're just putting in people that you think will help you solve a problem of you beating on poor people.
But I only keep chuckling at that because it's like it's so ridiculous.
It really is. Sorry, go ahead.
No. We keep hammering on the fact that he's like not, I guess, like not doing the right thing or not doing the right thing the right way. Turn that on its ear, though. Like, on the flip side, you don't think he's inspiring other people to do the right thing?
That's also something that he does.
When these criminals show up, like, you'll have criminals show up from like Star City or Keystone or like Metropolis, and they have to drive through Gotham. They're like, oh, fuck me. It's nighttime. The bat's here. We're so fucked.
I mean, that's what the bat signal's for. The bat signal's not to summon. The bat signal's not there to summon Batman. The bat signal's there to scare off people who would be like, "Let me do something," and they're like, "Oh, no." Like,
oh, right, I forgot.
Yeah, it's there literally just to scare. It's a deterrent. It's a deterrent.
Is it, though?
I was about to say, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation if it was.
I mean, the classic argument is that Batman creates his villain.
So, okay, on that point, if you're trying to tell me that, like, the bat signal's not a deterrent in a universe with, like, wrinkly blue Muppets and like billionaire sociopaths that become president, fucking magenta space Hitler named Sinestro.
The city could be much worse.
Supervillains aren't still going to exist. Like that crime still won't exist in this universe because a billionaire doesn't dress up like a fucking bat at night. Like, no, that shit's still gonna happen. It would just be someone else.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Someone less theatrical, probably.
I mean, look at Metropolis.
Look at Dick Grayson.
Exactly. Well, that's
I do things. Like as often as possible.
I mean, that's an example of his wanting to do better and fix things. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Batman as a character is he is not
healthy.
not healthy, but like he is not your typical hero in the sense that he's not Superman. He is not Superman in the least. You can't look up at Batman and say, holy shit, that is a man who really you should aspire to and try to do. This is a man who suffered severe trauma as a child and found his only outlet to be beating up criminals, whether they're supervillains or not supervillains. Because let's be honest, and we joke about the poor people thing, but the supervillains, they have wealth and money too.
Yeah, they do. I really want to go back 1 second because it follows up with what you were saying nicely, Paulo. Ed, you were saying a few minutes ago, do we think Bruce Wayne would have been any better if he'd gotten therapy? And my first question...
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, my bad, Paulo. But my first question to that is, are we talking regular therapy or Gotham therapy?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Gotham therapy because Gotham therapy is part of the reason that we have an issue with the supervillains. Arkham Asylum is a fucking revolving door.
Well, yeah, it's because the most evil people in Gotham are the psychiatrists.
Yes.
Yeah.
If he would have okay, let's put it like this: if his parents died and someone said, "Let's send them to Metropolis to go get therapy," what would have happened?
Wow, you just led me into my next point, Paulo, which is
what if they send him to Arkham?
Well, no, it's that the thing is you were saying like, oh, well, what if somebody made him do this, when he was right afterwards when he was 8, and the person who should have been doing that was his father figure, Alfred.
How dare you?
So Alfred encouraged, well, I mean, maybe not vocally, but he helped him along the way. He helped groom Bruce Wayne to become Batman.
Okay.
When he could have been trying to prevent the Batman from coming into being by.
Okay. I got an Alfred question for you. How common is it that he is portrayed as being like some sort of former SAS guy?
That's pretty much part of the backstory.
That's standard.
Yeah,
at a standard Alfred fare.
Yeah. So that's the other thing is you can't even say like, oh well, young Bruce Wayne would have just kicked Alfred's ass. No, I'm sorry, like until Bruce Wayne was like 16 or 17 at least. No, Alfred would have taken his ass.
Okay, so in that I argue that only because
they have touched on this, by the way.
Yes. So the problem is Alfred was his father figure, but Alfred was also his servant. Alfred was his butler. You're talking about a systemic kind of system where he doesn't have to listen to what Alfred tells him. And he doesn't he was groomed to not listen to what Alfred told him.
Yeah.
So all Alfred could really do was be there for him and try to support him in the best way that he could.
Yeah, he could offer him fatherly advice, but a young Bruce Wayne could be like, "Shut up, peasant."
He could also, but Alfred
wasn't he officially a ward of Alfred after his parents died? So wasn't Alfred his legal guardian?
Maybe.
I don't believe
probably.
so.
Okay, so I don't know offhand. I'm 100% sure at some point that was probably a thing with all the reboots and alternate universes and whatnot. I can't recall that information offhand.
That's fair. I guess what I'm getting at, I love Alfred. Alfred is first off the coolest butler in all of fiction.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Even aside from that, I just love Alfred. But I really feel like he kind of dropped the ball as a father figure.
I understand where you're coming from with that point. I'm only going to disagree with you in the sense that I don't remember what story this is, but they have done this subject before. And I believe Alfred's response was just like, you were going to do this anyway, so you might as well have had my help because you'd be dead without me.
I get that, because the thing is Batman's drive is an inherent integral part of his narrative. So yes, the Bruce Wayne would have done that anyway. But if we're talking about him like he were a real person who could have gone down a different path, I think Alfred could have done a lot to steer him in a different direction.
Maybe, but on the flip side, you have here you have a on the flip side of your point here. Alfred is a dad looking at his kid going, I want the best for my kid. And if he's going to do this, I got to help him do the thing.
Now, I get where he eventually landed. I just don't know if that was the right call. But then again, if, he had been a better dad figure, then maybe we wouldn't have the Batman character.
Well,
and that would be a loss
you
for all
also
of
have
us.
to remember, and this is something that I only recognize now as I've gotten older, is parents are human and flawed as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was about to say, we're talking about two broken characters doing the best they can.
You got to remember something. Alfred also loved the Waynes, so Alfred also suffered as part of what happened, and you see it.
He was a victim as well.
You see it in so many different stories where Alfred is just as tortured as Bruce about what happened.
Had to be.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that was one of the most broken Michael Caine broken voices ever.
Oh, dude, when at the end of
I've already had to bury both of your parents. How many more like that?
Yeah, holy crap. Like all of that, and good Alfred actors really just fucking just like a. Michael Caine was so good as Alfred.
Yeah.
Michael Caine was so good as Alfred.
Okay. I know we were crapping on Gotham before, but that show's Alfred was fantastic.
Was he? I don't know.
I didn't see it.
I enjoyed it.
I have beef with Gotham. I won't get into that. But
I hear that show goes fucking Looney Tunes.
Yes, it does. But apparently they start to own it, and that's when it actually gets interesting, from what I've heard. But like I said, I don't know. I won't review or judge on it, aside from the fact that my beef with it is I had that idea first.
You know what I want? I want a Batman IP, whether it's a movie or a show or a cartoon, directed by David Lynch.
Oh my god, that'd be fantastic!
Gimme
that.
All right,
yeah.
Going back,
like you can't tell me that like Serious House on or Arkham Asylum, Serious House on Serious Earth, directed by David Lynch, wouldn't be the shit.
Yes, that'd be fantastic. That'd be amazing. Oh my god, that'd be so good. But
I like how you were just agreeing with me and then like actually thought about what I said and like, fuck.
Well, no,
I want that.
I actually,
No.
something like your conversation about Alfred just now, like it actually reminded me of something. So if you ever read, so we were talking about the fact that Bruce Wayne had died, quote unquote, and then actually had been traveled through time. One of the books that was written as part of that was Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader, which is a take on Alan Moore's Whatever Happened to the Man of Steel.
Man of Tomorrow.
Oh, sorry, Man of Tomorrow. Thank you. I'm sorry.
And Batman story that you're talking about, Paulo, is written by Neil Gaiman.
Yes. So that story is written by Neil Gaiman. He actually touches upon one of the possibilities. So in that story, they kind of go into different possibilities of who Batman was. Like they have a funeral for Batman, and all the villains arrive there too, and all the different people that were part of his life. And it's a really weird comic, and I think everyone should go out and read it. But there's a scene where they touch on
it's very surreal.
The idea
Took the words out of my mouth.
that the greatest villain, the Joker, was actually Alfred getting dressed up as the Joker to give him something to take out his aggression on.
Oh yeah, and he hired his former actor friend, or he got a hold of his old actor friends to dress up as the other characters.
Yeah. And Batman Batman would be Batman, but it was actually Alfred who was giving him that villain, that necessity to be something for him
greater
to fight
than
against.
the sum of his parts.
Yeah, exactly. So that was something I just wanted to bring up as part of something that was just really interesting, having you guys having this discussion about Alfred. Because you can argue that Alfred is one of the reasons that we have Batman as he is, but I feel like that's also one of the reasons why Batman as he is a sympathetic character. You know, Alfred gave him love, gave him affection, gave him something of a father figure for him to be, something to look up to. And he's, in a lot of issues of Batman, you see Bruce Wayne it's one of the few things that he cares about is Alfred.
Oh yeah.
Like, not to spoil anything. Like, I know we've discussed it beforehand, but
I mean, yeah, we threw it out there.
Yeah, we threw it out there, but like in the current storyline, there's some serious stuff going on regarding Alfred, and it's gonna have to be touched upon, and it's gonna be a big deal regarding Alfred and Bruce, and I mean, even to that point, the idea of what happened in an alternate Flashpoint version of Gotham, Bruce gets killed. And as a result, Thomas Wayne becomes Batman.
I actually, yeah, if we were going to touch on the idea that, Bruce Wayne, Batman is the reason that these other people are dressing up, these big outlandish characters to then like go do the crimes. Mm-hmm. And again, my mantra for this episode has been Gotham is a cesspool. Flashpoint, like Paulo just said, Bruce Wayne dies. Thomas Wayne becomes Batman. Martha Wayne cracks under the guilt. The guilt, emotional baggage of losing her son, becomes the Joker. Thomas Wayne uses their wealth to like fund casinos and fucking other gambling rings and whatever porn and this XYZ, like hookers, blackjack, all that jazz. Gotham's still not a good place.
No,
it's not just Bruce Wayne Batman is the catalyst for these things. It's just this place is fucking evil.
And this Batman is a militant Batman. Like, he has no problem with using guns, no problem with killing. And still the city is...
He's using Joe Chill's gun.
Yeah, that's right. He is using Joe Chill's gun.
I think what that story does a good job of illustrating is the the meta narrative concept that Gotham creates Batman and his villains, and that if like Bruce Wayne wasn't around, the city would find a way to form them in other ways.
Well, there's that saying that there always needs to be a Batman. Like, that's actually something that they've touched on in recent storylines. The idea, like especially Scott Snyder's run, the idea that there always has to be a Batman ready to protect Gotham City.
I mean, you can go back a little bit before Snyder's run with Batman. Like I was saying before, that like as a symbol of Gotham. Grant Morrison took that concept and he made it global.
Oh yeah, Batman Inc.
Batman Inc. was the thing. He took the same concept or I should say in story. Bruce Wayne looked at what he was doing in Gotham and was like, we could make the world a better place if we do things this way in other places. I just have to find the right like-minded people. Like, I need help. He straight up was just like, I have to stop being fucking bat jerk to do all this by myself and go get me some help. So you had like the Batman of Japan, the Batman of England, the Batman of wherever. And they were all wearing the bat symbol.
Yes, I've seen. Yeah, that storyline's also freaking fantastic. Batman Inc. Grant Morrison's run was weird on Batman, but it was also really, really good. And again, in that story, he also touches on the idea of Gotham as a character, the idea of Gotham being something that creates this need for these villains and these heroes that have to now protect the city.
It's one of the things that I love about the DC universe. It's what draws me to it's what draws me to DC Comics more than Marvel. Gotham is its own character. Metropolis is its own character. They have these like weird named cities that are just as much characters and concepts as the characters that inhabit them.
I mean, that's a good thing about using fictional cities, though, because you
can do whatever you want.
Exactly. You can't do that with Manhattan.
Yeah. Like Matt, how do you kill a vampire? It's a fictional character. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yes.
However you want.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really true. But like I say, Gotham is a really fucking fucked up place. Let's be honest here. And I don't know whether or not we can put all the blame on Batman.
It's definitely not. Here's a character that's making the best of his situation. That like I agree that like Bruce Wayne the man might not be something to strive to, but like as a concept, here's a person who's like the living manifestation of human perseverance. Like he got a really fucked up hand and still is doing pretty good with it. You know what I mean?
I'd say he's doing
the
pretty good.
Scariest guy. A room full of gods, essentially. Like here's Superman who can just like juggle planets, or Wonder Woman who could fight everybody on the planet at the same time. Hal Jordan's got a magic ring. Wally West can punch you 1,000,000 times in the balls before you blink. and they all look at the dude dressed like a bat, and they're like, "Fuck, that guy is terrifying."
Yeah, I would not.
Oh, he just cracked a joke? That's the scariest thing I've ever seen. The guy that juggles planets looks at his best friend and goes, "You scare the shit out of me."
Well, I mean, you could almost say that Batman is a result of his environment. And Gotham City is a terrifying place.
It's a fucking cesspool, my friend.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. All of the music that you have heard is the song Dance Rocket off the album Descent of the Goober Monster by Jesse Spillane. It is licensed under Attribution 4.0 International CC by 4.0 license off freemusicarchive.org. If you have a question, a topic you would like us to cover, or simply wish to tell us all of the facts that we have screwed up, feel free to email us at laymansguidetothemultiverse@gmail.com. Also, feel free to visit us at our website at laymansguidetothemultiverse.com.